Allen has all day. End zone touchdown.
Cuts it upfield, and he waltzes into the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots.
2008, the last time the Patriots did not make the playoffs.
Tua Tagovailoa in the game for the first time this year.
How about a little Tua touchdown? How about that?
Yeah. End zone. Gesicki touchdown. That's a Jet touchdown. Broken up by Marcus May. Jets will get their first win of the season.
The Buffalo Bills are champions of the AFC East for the first time in 25 years.
NFL Network is your home for live preseason action, and week 2 starts with Patriots and Eagles on Thursday, August 19th. It's one of 8 live games we'll show you over 4 days that week. You can catch the entire slate of preseason games in the month of August right here on NFL Network. Let's get into our camp countdown, bringing in Willie, D. Hall, and Cynthia Freeland in the mix. We're going to go ahead and check out the biggest storylines surrounding the AFC East as we prepare for training camp. So let's start with you, D. Hall, and the Jets. What you got your eye on?
Oh my God, I think the biggest storyline is going to be that culture change, right? When you go from a coach like Adam Gase, who probably in a lot of press conferences had more memes than he did wins on the football field, and then you go to a guy like Robert Saleh, it is all about how can this guy get those players in that locker room to change their mindset, to feel like it doesn't matter what the score is. Every time we step on this football field, we're going to go out there and compete. And I know a lot of that has to do with this quarterback, Zach Wilson. How can Matt LaFleur and this offense get him going? This is a quarterback-friendly style of offense that's going to rely a lot on the run game. And so I'm looking forward to seeing Rob Saleh change the culture in the New York Jets locker room. And those guys are going to start to slowly become winners. I don't see it happening this year a lot, but in the future, I love what Rob Saleh and the Jets are going to be doing.
You know what one of the friendliest ways to help your quarterback and your run game is? It's to improve your O-line. If you look last season, they allowed over a 31% pressure rate. That is a ton. It actually ranked 29th, meaning like the 3rd worst in the NFL. So when you look to see what they could do to potentially change this, well, they added Morgan Moses, a great tackle, kind of quietly. And then, of course, they drafted that guard, Elijah Vera Tucker, in the 1st round. So it's going to be a good, welcome to the NFL, a little nicer one now, given this O-line.
All right, Willie, we're going to keep it rolling here. You know where I'm going with you, right?
Yep.
What about
absolutely.
a storyline for the Patriots?
Remember that movie, Scarface, when he said, I reloaded? They reloaded, okay?
I didn't know where you were going.
I was going to help you out. I'm going to put you there, all right? Just stay with me. Now, in the offseason, this was the worst, okay? Not winning the division, not making the playoffs, having all those injuries and not competing, and hearing the Bills now run a division and is going to be Super Bowl champions at some point and going to AFC championship. Well, guess what? They just went into the piggy bank, the Kraft family, and they spent the most money in free agents. They filled all the voids along the front on both sides of the football, the tight ends, the receivers, pass rushers. They even went out and got a guy by the name of Jones from Alabama, a quarterback that's probably going to be the franchise guy and take over for Cam Newton at some point. And they said, hey, it's not over for Cam either. We still believe in him. We're going to give him a 1-year deal and put talent around him. They went out and told and showed everybody that they're not just going to lay down. It is not over for the Patriots, and they know what they needed. They went out and got every single piece to the puzzle for that organization. So we're going to see what's going to happen this year, but they're not going for hearing all that. The division is over, playoff. That's not happening.
Well, one thing I'm looking at that you hit the nail straight on the head with is an increase in offensive efficiency. If you look on 3rd down last season, they only converted under 41% of their 3rd downs. They were not great in the red area, just a 54.2 red zone touchdown conversion rate. That was 24th in the NFL. Of course, bringing in Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry. They were pretty spendy this offseason, which isn't a very characteristic move for the Patriots. But this all adds up to make sure that that offense keeps rolling, keeps those first downs coming.
All right, D. Hall, a warning before I say this, talk to me nice. Let's hear your storyline with the Dolphins.
Put you out there.
Well, MJ, I know this is your squad down there in South Beach, and to me, the biggest storyline is going to be Tua. How does he become even better at the quarterback position? It's funny because I had this well-prepared speech about what I was going to say about Tua, but then I was thinking about what Trent Dilfer said when Tua was at the Elite 11 camp, I think as a sophomore, and he had all these things he needed to work on. And then he said he came back the next year, and he was the best quarterback hands down. You know who was at that Elite 11 camp too? Trevor Lawrence. And so this kid loves to compete. I'm a little nervous because you get rid of the offensive coordinator, Chan Gailey, who is known for putting quarterbacks in position to do what they do well. And then you see Tua struggle a little bit. And so now they're going with the co-coordinators being Godsey and Studsville. And so I'm just a little bit intrigued to see how that dynamic is going to work. But I got all the confidence in the world, MJ, and Tua, that he will bounce back, and I can't wait to watch him ball.
I agree.
One way that he could bounce back is using quick passes, which actually was a source of success last season. Almost a 74% completion percentage on such passes with 7 touchdowns and just 2 interceptions. So when I look to see what could potentially happen here with Jalen Waddle, who, of course, they drafted 6th overall, well, this guy just averaged 10.1 yards after the catch per reception last season. Of course, that was at Alabama. But Alabama's a great school. They can figure this one out. Those yards after the catch on those quick passes, that could be a way to get Tua going.
I like it. Thank you for the numbers, Cynthia, as always. All right, Willie, let's round this out. What about the Bills? What are you looking at?
It's Super Bowl or bust. All right, this is one of the most talented teams in the NFL. They got to the AFC Championship last year and fell short. They know what they need to work on, but what was the reason why they fell short? Well, maybe it was probably because of the defense, okay? And they recognize that in the offense. So what do? They go out and they draft Greg Rousseau out of Miami. They go out and get Boogie Basham out of Wake Forest, 2 defensive ends. They re-sign Matt Milano. They add some depth and firepower to the pass rush in the front 7. You can't win in this league if you can't play defense and control the trenches and get to the quarterback and stop the run. They recognize that. They don't have a lot of holes, okay? They might have lost John Brown on offense, but guess what? Here walks in Emmanuel Sanders, I think an upgrade at that position. So you got everything around you offensively for a quarterback in Josh Allen. You can run the ball, your offensive line. You add to the defense. There's nothing else to talk about. If you're a Buffalo Bill fan, you're talking about Super Bowl and nothing else.
You know, you're looking at that number on the bottom of the screen that they pressured quarterbacks at a 27.2 rate, which ranked 10th in the NFL. But you have to take all of this into context. Teams were passing on them quite a bit because, of course, they were playing with the lead. So those numbers, that needs to be something that they can reinforce. And you talked about going out in the draft and drafting 2 defensive ends, 2 pass rushers. This means that they added key pass rush depth and youth to that front. So if you talk about Super Bowl or bust, it's all about staying fresh and keeping it going longer. So for me, this one is all about reinforcing that front.
You know, the Bills are the glow-up story of the league, truly. I mean, a couple seasons ago, nobody was even looking at Josh Allen, and now he came out, busted through. And honestly, they have set the tone and the standard, really, going into this season and in this division in the AFC East. So they're going to be very exciting to watch. All right, guys, thank you. It is the biggest season ever, and it starts training camp. We're back, baby. A whole week of first looks and insider access leading up to the first ever Back Together Saturday, fueled by Gatorade, with a full day of coverage around the league as all 32 teams take the field. Training camp Back Together. That coverage begins July 26th on NFL Network. Okay, when you think deep ball quarterbacks, you think Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, maybe even Aaron Rodgers. But after the break, we're going to show you why the old GOAT belongs on that list, too. In fact, he may just belong at the top of it. That's next.